I'm Brenda Herchmer. Welcome to FF103 Part 5, the value of strategic foresight and systems thinking. We're going to cover what it means to be a future-focused leader who's able to apply strategic foresight, systems thinking, and change, and how can we do that better. A future-focused leader is really someone who's not entirely content with the present, who's willing to invest some time and energy in developing a better alternative. So it's someone who observes and understands what's already happening at both a macro and a micro level. And, from my point of view, I think the most effective leaders are those who pay as much attention to the future as they do to the present. And I think I'm inspired by their sense of what could or should be, and because that's what's driving their action, and that's inspirational. So you've seen these competencies before. These are threaded throughout this course, but when you look at these, you'll see that they're not typical competencies. These are really about competencies that will help prepare you for being a future-focused leader. So some of the learning might confirm what you're already doing. Some of it may be new to you, but it's this collective set of competencies that have been designed to prepare you as a future-focused leader. Nelson Sokin suggests that future-focused leaders have a number of core mindsets, which is really about prioritizing compelling vision, about emphasizing collaboration, about always demonstrating empathy. I think one of the ways that I suggest that empathy as well is reflecting it in being able to suspend judgment of others. It's about being very observant. It's about constructive debate and really being able to have courageous conversations. And it's about prototyping as well. One of the things that I think is so important, and I want to encourage everyone to carve out time for, is to be aware and be curious. I think we all have to be lifelong learners and explorers, and lifelong unlearners as well. So it's about being open to the potential impact and the influences of megatrends and trends and the edge cases and black swans that we've talked about. And then it's about combining that kind of knowledge with intuition or foresight. So here's some things that I've learned and others have shared with me, and things that I'm trying to do as well. So I think part of being a future-focused community leader is really being observant about the trends in your daily life. So, paying attention to demographic information and changes in the economy and the political landscape and new technologies, and, even visiting bookstores. I know when I worked at Niagara College, one of the things that I used to do on a regular basis was just visit the bookstores and even the different disciplines. Pay attention to mainstream as well as fringe media and culture. And it's great to get information from Statistics Canada, from the World Future Society. I subscribe to Fast Company and get great information on an almost daily basis about trends and issues. I listen to CBC Radio, which I think is a great source of information. I have my Google Alerts set for certain topics. It's free, and if you're interested in a specific topic, it automatically will flag it for you. TED Talks, I think, are a great source of helping identify trends that are bubbling up. I think it's, regardless of where you are, it's about promoting a learning culture, practicing reflection, making sure that you and those that you work with have learning plans. Look for learning opportunities. I know that even when I worked for organizations that didn't have a lot of money, I would volunteer to present sessions, and usually if I did a session for free, I was allowed to attend the conference without paying the fees, which I think was kind of a win-win for a lot of them, for a lot of people. And I think it's also, it's about this idea of the early signals. Pay attention to the grassroots word on the street. I know in Quebec there's a network of early adopters, I think would be the best way to describe them, who meet on a regular basis to share what they are hearing as grassroots word on the street. So it's a way to really see what the common denominators are, what people are hearing about early signals. I think it's important to trust your instincts, but also learn to ignore your own biases. Be clear about what you're collecting trends about, and then go deeper. So whether it's Google Alert or listservs or journals or things like that. I think it's also about making time for conversations. I mean, I think that one of the things that I do where I learn more than anything is that I simply hang out with smart people who are ahead of the curve. So it's this diversity of your networks and even mentorships. I don't like the word mentorship because I find even if I'm referred to as a mentor, I still think it's mentor mutualism. That's a term that I'm pretty sure I made that up. But I think even when we mentor college or university students, we learn from them as much as they learn from us. I think that we can add trends and issues as a discussion topic at staff and board meetings. I think we can invest time and energy in the development and sustaining of networks. I loved what I was able to do with one organization is that when any one of us attended a conference or a workshop, part of the staff meeting was coming back and sharing updates with others. I think we need to take time to project the impact of trends, and I think it's as much about prioritizing it. So making sure that we protect some time, even 5% of our time, to back away from the dance on the dance floor and take ourselves to the balcony for a different perspective. And probably it's as much about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. I want to also touch on this quote here by Gary Hamel because I think he brings up another point too, is that he says, if you want to see the future coming, 90% of what you learn is going to be outside of your current industry. So that's what's going to help you get ready for the future. You already know your own industry. That's really what he's saying. So if you hang around with others from other industries or read from other industries or sign up for listservs from other industries, that will bode well for you in terms of your learning as a future-focused leader. I also wanted to include this from Don Michaels, Clues for a Time of Turmoil. And I wanted to include it because I think it provides some really inspirational advice about what it means to be a future-focused leader. So I'll let you read that on your own, but really this is about, I think, some inspirational advice for each of us. And I'll end on this next slide, which is a quote from Nellie McClung, who was one of Canada's first feminists who was instrumental in getting women the vote. And I'm sure that she had a tough road as a future-focused leader. But what she said is that, be prepared for the fact that disturbers are never popular, that nobody ever really loved an alarm clock in action, no matter how grateful he or she may have been afterwards for its kind services. So it may be about growing a thicker skin as well. But oh, can you imagine how rewarding it must have been for her?